am so happy to see you all here tonight. We're here for not one, but two really amazing developments for Griffith Park and for Los Angeles. First, thanks to the incredible support of Assemblymember Friedman, the influx of needed funding to do a bunch of safety improvements for the park and the immediate area, as well as, which was decided yesterday at a Rec and Parks Commissioners meeting, which is the permanent closing of Griffith Park Drive to private vehicles. I want to just take a few minutes and talk about why we're here today, the context in which we're doing all of this work. And I think the reason why the Assembly member, our mayor, and I, and so many of us assembled here feel a real sense of urgency about all of this work. We now have our data for traffic deaths for the first quarter of 2022 nationwide, and they rose 7% over 2021 to 9,560 people killed by traffic violence. This is the highest total at this point of a year since 2002. We remain in a crisis of traffic violence, and it is up to us at the state and local levels to create safer spaces for people who are walking, biking, rolling, driving, and in Griffith Park, riding by horseback. We were struck here with a tragic death in April when Andrew Gelmert was killed while biking by a person who was driving way too fast and under the influence. His killing galvanized us. It made our work so much more urgent. It made us double down on the discussions that we had already begun around Griffith Park and the changes that we needed. So what are we doing now? Well, immediately after his death, we embarked upon the Griffith Park Safety and Mobility Improvements Feasibility Study with the Department of Recreation and Parks. We brought on an incredible consultant to help us move quickly, to present us with short, medium, and long-term options with different cost levels. We were able to take their recommendations and get to work. Our vision is simple: a Griffith Park where there are fewer cars, where the remaining cars are being driven at slower speeds, and where there are more separated and protected spaces dedicated entirely to active transportation. And for me as a mother, that's particularly important, because I want bicyclists in Los Angeles to not just be people who feel strong and fearless, sharing space on city's roads, but I want my kids to be able to ride on this city's streets. For Griffith Park Drive specifically, this closure was identified as a top early priority because we can cut through traffic. There's a huge number of drivers here who take this as a shortcut. They're not using this to get into the park. They're using it as a way to reduce their travel time on the highway. And that's not what the park was intended for. While not completely free of vehicular traffic, this simple cut-through cutoff means that the people who are using this park are the ones who are really driving into the park. And that's going to be a huge difference in the number of cars that we're seeing in the park. I want to just thank a number of people here, especially Stephanie Smith, the superintendent of the Griffith region, and Tracy James. You can see the amount of love in this space for them because they've been talking about this for so long. And they were responding to ongoing direction from so many Griffith Park stakeholders, the Griffith Park Advisory Board, Friends of Griffith Park, so many transportation and bicycling advocates who are pushing for exactly this vision of Griffith Park that we want. It should also be noted that this is not a departmental leadership that acts alone. They continue to be focused on convening stakeholders, on really listening to them, and on taking their input into account as the department moves forward. And we have them to thank for the fact that we're here today. So please give them a round of applause. What we've done here as a council office is really to provide them support, immediate and wholehearted support. We want to move as fast as we can. and with partners like the department, including Matt Rudnick, who has been involved in this work directly from day one, who are so dedicated and so involved, that means we have the human capital to move quickly. Which brings me to the second important thing that you need in order to make a project like this happen, the money. Like everything else, the vision we all have for a safer and family-friendly Griffith Park requires money. And we have been blessed here in Griffith Park to have an incredible partner in Assemblymember Laura Friedman. She hasn't just been a champion of sustainability and transportation. She has focused specifically on improvements that we can make to this park and enabling users of bicycles and pedestrians to be able to enter the park safely, including getting $30 million for a bridge connecting this park to our surrounding cities. And we have some of our city leadership here, and we're going to get this bridge built, and it's going to be incredibly, incredibly exciting. Griffith Park is going to get historic funding this year, and it's only because we have an incredible ally in Sacramento that we were able to get that. This funding is going to help us implement the recommendations of that study that I talked about earlier very, very quickly. Again, all of this is moving at a speed that I'm so proud of and that we honestly don't often see in this city. That's something that we're working to fix, but here it's different and it's exciting. And finally, we wouldn't be here today without the support of our mayor, Eric Garcetti, who has, I think, so much more than almost any city leader I have ever seen brought transportation and safety issues to the forefront during his tenure, making incredible commitments and putting real dollars behind a vision for a safer, more walkable, more bikeable city. And he's been a staunch supporter of these efforts here in Griffith Park. Let's give him a big round of applause. And I wanted to, at this point, invite the mayor up to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give it up for our incredible council member, Nithya Raman, who has not only been able to deliver money, not only been able to deliver this project, but is up here with her 2 kids. So let's give them a round of applause as well. And I see a husband out there too, so it's a full family affair. So I'm here with my daughter, Maya, and we love this park. First and foremost, I'm an Angelino, not a mayor. And I tell people oftentimes I'm working on something, and sometimes an angry person at a community meeting say, well, you don't even care, you won't even be mayor then. And I always say, well, I'll be even more dangerous. I'll be a constituent. So thank you to the constituents, because I can't wait to join you soon as somebody advocating for the city that I know, that I love, that I'm a 4th generation product of, but also here in this iconic park, which I'm in every single week, privately, with friends, hiking. This is a place where we come to recharge our souls, but it shouldn't be a place where we fear for our lives. And that's what today is really all about. This is one of the largest urban parks in North America. And to celebrate the securing of this truly historic funding that will make this park more fun, make it more safe, more accessible, and available to every Angelino and visitor to enjoy. But it's really these 2 women who I also want to celebrate. And I want to lift up women's leadership for a moment, because both Laura and Nithya embody the bold leadership, the vision, and the heart that our city so badly needs. I got to know Laura when we were both council members, and we were working on transportation issues on the border of Atwater Village and Glendale, safety around a rail crossing, and I saw an amazing public servant. And she's taken that love and that attention to detail up to Sacramento, which is not an easy place to do business. People often say, when you don't have much money, those are easy budgets to pass. You think when there's a lot of money, it's easy. It's actually the toughest, because everybody thinks they can get whatever they want. So it takes a true advocate who knows the system, who can bring home the bacon, who can make this happen, to create spaces where safety and equity and sustainability are front and center. But the truth is, the path to public officials in our Golden State isn't as accessible and equitable or straightforward as we all know that it can be and should be. In 2022, women in California still make up less than 1/3 of our state assembly, and only 3 of 15 seats on the city council, and very recently that was just 1 seat on the city council. But that's changing, and I hope that people will reward women's leadership, will vote for women's leadership, that the men and women and non-binary folks that are here will be able to say that it is important for us to make sure that we back incredible perseverance of leaders like this. So give them another round of applause and thank them as well. I also want to go through some list of thank yous. Our new general manager of Recreation and Parks, Jimmy Kim. Is Jimmy here?
He's not.
He's not. You know, already he's always been a behind-the-scenes guy. I'm going to help to promote him to get out there so you can see the face of your new general manager of Rec and Parks. But Matthew Rudnick, who has been a great partner with him and who recently was named executive officer of Rec and Parks, and you'll hear from this entire Griffith Park team that we're so lucky to have, and also the community, because this really couldn't be done with the community. And we all know, those of us who have represented Northeast, sometimes people give us a bad rap, like, oh, Northeast, Los Feliz, people around Griffith Park, they don't want to do anything. Well, we actually do want to do something. We just care for this park a lot. We want to do it right, we want to do it safely, and this is evidence. None of this would be possible for us as political leaders if you didn't hold our feet to the fire to make sure this happened. On April 16th, as was mentioned, our 77-year-old angel in the city of Angels, Andrew Gelmert, was cycling just a little over 2 miles from where we are right now when he was fatally struck by a vehicle on Crystal Springs Road. And he was preparing for a 7-day, 545-mile ride to benefit the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the Los Angeles LGBT Center. He was fighting for a better and more equal future for all of us when his life was taken. And as the council member noted, that launched us to prompt a closure of this road as a pilot program. And I want to thank my commission that voted yesterday to not make this a pilot, but to say, you have to do something to unchange this. We don't have to do anything to continue it. And I think that we will show the success of this very quickly. But if we could take a moment of silence for Andrew, I know that this is part of his legacy, and I hope that someplace he's looking at us right now, that he did not die in vain. And so many folks who are the victims, whether they're cyclists, pedestrians, or caught in car accidents in our city. So thank you. This will no doubt save lives, but it will also enrich lives. And that's why we're here today. So we're celebrating $4 million. I keep joking, but I think it shows my age more than anything else that Laura Friedman is my Larry H. Parker. She got us $4 million. And she is incredible. It's not just for this road, it's for the traffic signal improvements, it's protected bike lanes, speed mitigation. That laundry list that constituents have asked us for so long, we're throwing as much of the kitchen sink in today. And Council District 4 and the Department of Recreation and Parks are working together in their exploration of short, medium, and long-term possibilities throughout the park. And while they're considering coordinating many moving parts and possibilities over these short, medium, and long terms, the end goal is very simple. Make this iconic place safer, healthier, better for all of us. And there's no better person to explain that than our next speaker, who is the Assembly member from the 43rd District. Does anybody want Spanish out there? Español? ¿Está bien? Okay. No, sometimes but it doesn't seem like there's any Spanish media here today. Desafortunadamente, porque este es muy importante en nuestra comunidad también. But with that, let me turn it over to a champion, a friend, an amazing mother, an amazing Assembly member, amazing human being, and somebody who is making sure that this legacy, I was reading Thucydides the other day, Pericles, he quotes, a legacy is not what we build, I'm paraphrasing here, in physical monuments, but what our work does to weave into the daily lives of human beings. And certainly, she is a great weaver who is changing our lives and improving our park. Please welcome your Assembly member, Laura Friedman.
Wow, that was an amazing introduction. Thank you. I mean, not only was that those amazing words that make me blush and feel a little bit unworthy, but to have those words come from Mayor Eric Garcetti, who has been such a visionary and such an amazing leader for this city, and also someone who has highlighted Vision Zero and trying to reduce traffic deaths as one of the centerpieces of his platforms, you know, that makes it all the more special for me. You know, standing up here and looking around, I can really feel the love here. And it's not love to me. The love that's here is love to Griffith Park. And it's also the love that so many of you have for each other. I mean, and I'll tell you, legislating is not easy. And the work that we do as elected officials isn't easy. There's always all kinds of headaches and there's a lot of stuff that comes up. But it's days like this that make me realize why I work the way I do every day. It's these moments where you can actually see something that so many people have fought for years become a reality, and you had a really small part of it that makes it all so worthwhile. And looking around, there are so many of you who have spent so much time working on this project and on traffic safety issues in general for so long. I see Jeanette, I see Damien, I see so many of you out there, and I want to thank you because this is your moment and your day. And certainly my amazing partner, Nithya Raman, the councilwoman who has come in and not been shy in her very first year of trying to shake things up and get things done, and maybe get people a little mad at her because she knows what's not working and she's willing to try. And sometimes you have to fail if you're going to try, but if you don't try, those same mistakes and those same conditions are going to go on forever. So yeah, closing a road is hard, and there are people who will say this is going to inconvenience me. Maybe they use that road to cut through between the 134 and Hollywood. But there is a greater good to look at, and the greater good is that this park is here for all of us. And it's here for all of us to use for recreation, for cycling, to enjoy the outdoors, for the protection of the animals and the wildlife who live here. For our children, and I also have my 9-year-old is running around somewhere, I think two-fisting the ices right now. And it's for them, right? And that's what we need to center. Now, traffic fatalities and serious accidents have gone up in the last few years across the nation 30%. 30%. So traffic violence is now a public safety crisis. And we need to treat it as that. And we need to rethink everything. We need to rethink the way we engineer our roads. We need to rethink how we invest in transportation projects. We need to rethink the wisdom of everybody getting everywhere in a single occupant vehicle when we have so much congestion and we've got so many other needs. We need to rethink the amount of land and concrete we use for parking and for roads. And we need to remember that when we're on foot and on bicycle and when we provide those options for people, not only do we get physically healthier, not only do we reclaim the outdoors, not only do we reduce emissions and deal with our climate crisis, but we also have the chance to look our neighbors and our friends in the eye and build community and build respect and empathy for each other. So, thank you. So the work that all of you activists do, it's not just about riding your bike. It's about building that community. It's about centering safety. It's about giving people options. It's about public health. It's about all those things. And don't you forget it. Yes. And so I hope that all of you who have worked so hard on this take a victory lap today, and a victory burrito, and a victory icy, because you all deserve it. So, I actually do have some talking points that somebody wrote for me. I'm going to just glance at them. So I am very happy, with the help of Speaker Anthony Rendon, to have been able to secure $4 million for upgrades for traffic safety here in Griffith Park. And that's not all. I want to first acknowledge that we have council members from the neighboring cities. Paula Devine, council member from the city of Glendale, Dan Brotman, also from the city of Glendale, and Constantine Anthony from the city of Burbank. I've also been able to secure money for those cities to deal with traffic safety issues, and in Glendale to work on the Verdugo Wash bike path. Hopefully will be a safe and protected way to get people through Glendale to Glendale Community College and to the LA River bike path. In the last few years, as was mentioned, I was able to secure $30 million for a pedestrian and cyclist bridge between Glendale and Griffith Park to take cars off Los Feliz Boulevard, off the 134, and from going through Burbank, and to get people to be able to, who live in the shadow of this park, but are cut off from it by the 5 freeway and by the LA River, to be able to use this park that's within walking distance of them, and they can't get here by foot or bicycle. Once this bridge is built, they'll be able to. I've also asked for $15 million in the budget this year for the LA River bike path in the San Fernando Valley, but we're still waiting on that request. I've been working, as many of you know, on the whole suite of legislation for traffic safety. My Omnibike bill that makes a whole bunch of changes to road rules to help bicyclists get around more safely. A recent bill that we successfully passed with the help of our wonderful mayor to allow cities to cap and in some cases reduce speed limits to stop speeding. I have a bill working through that will help to have planning agencies to actually start talking about the emissions that their transportation projects create, and instead to refocus them on emissions reducing transportation projects like active transportation and transit. And I will reintroduce next year for the 3rd time a bill to allow more sensible, equity-centered speed cameras to stop speeding in our most dangerous networks, with the money captured to go right back into safety improvements for those roads. And by the way, if you're going to get a ticket with those cameras, it's $50 as opposed to hundreds of dollars. So if you're going to speed, you'd rather get nailed by a camera, believe me, than by a traffic cop. And in that bill, you have to be going egregiously fast to even get a ticket. So we're going to, if you're interested in that, help us next year. We have not been able to get that bill through the legislature. It's an important piece of this. So this is urgent. This is a public health crisis. It's a crisis in so many areas. But today, we start seeing what's possible. And we're going to keep building on that, all of us together. So I want to bring up, let's see. First, I want to introduce, thank you. He is so helpful in so many ways. The General Manager for LA Parks and Recreation, Matthew Rudnick. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Friedman. I'm not the General Manager of Rec and Parks. I was promoted, apparently.
Acting at this press conference.
That's right. No, I appreciate it. The challenge with speaking after such articulate elected officials is they've said all the good stuff. My name is Matthew Rudnick. I'm the Executive Officer for the Department of Recreation and Parks. And we are here to celebrate a really special moment. The Department of Rec and Parks is fortunate, as the mayor said, to be stewards of one of the largest urban parks in North America. It attracts millions of visitors annually, offers abundant recreational activities, and provides natural habitat for our wildlife. But if you think back into the history of the park space in our city, in the 50s, the state, sorry, Assembly Member, the state did run, the state ran all of its highways through many of our parks, Griffith Park, Elysian Park. If you think about the amount of parkland and park space, public space that we lost because of our highways, it's really inconceivable. So today we mark a step towards reclaiming some of our parkland. And so it adds insult to injury sometimes when you have so much cut through traffic through a park. And so I'm just very excited to be here on behalf of the Department of Recreation and Parks. As the Councilwoman said, our Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners yesterday voted to make this closure permanent and voted to, thank you. And I want to recognize Tafari Bain, one of our commissioners who's here. Thank you, Tafari, for being here. I also just want to point out, not only have cyclists and equestrians, pedestrians enjoyed the closure, but recently our new urban ecologist has seen a bit of an uptick in wildlife activity actually on the roadway. And so keep your eyes peeled just in case P22 makes an appearance out here. Was he here?
Yes, he was here.
But we have a lot of work still to do here in Griffith Park, and the funding being brought to bear today will help accelerate our efforts and really make some of these active transportation improvements come to life. So I do have a few thank yous. I do want to thank, again, the mayor for his leadership and his team. Is Jennifer Perkins here? She's been an amazing advocate and supporter. We want to thank Councilmember Raman and her team, in particular, Mehmet Burke. Is Mehmet here? Who's been an incredible supporter of the program. And Assemblymember Friedman, thank you so much for the funding. And Seamus Garrity, who is part of the city family practically. And then I also want to thank our Kimley Horn team. Somia is here with her kids. Somia in the back, our traffic engineer, and Matt with Kimley Horn. We're very excited to continue our work together. And I'd like to thank our staff at Rec and Parks, Stephanie Smith, who's not here, Tracy James, who is. Thank you so much, Tracy. I also want to thank our park rangers. Our mounted unit is here. I want to thank our park services staff and our traffic management staff who keep the park safe for us. I want to thank our construction and maintenance crews who keep the park safe and clean. And in addition, I want to thank the Griffith Park Advisory Board. Jason is here, I think, somewhere. And I want to thank the Friends of Griffith Park, Carolyn Ramsey with the LA Parks Foundation, who helped fund our study. And I also just want to thank everybody here who loves the park and is going to continue to be partners with the department, with our elected officials, and with our government agencies to really make these dreams come possible. So thank you so much, and thank you with Luis at Travel Town, the train rides. They're going to keep the trains open late tonight and provide free train rides for the kids. So thank you very much.
Okay, guys, we're almost done. Okay, 3 more minutes. Okay, so I want to do actually three things. One, I want to let people know about the 3 treks that are happening right after this. John Yee, the executive director of Los Angeles Walks, will be leading a walk. So can you raise your hand, John? You see him over there? Yeah, so if anybody wants to go on that walk, go to John. Eli Kaufman, executive director of the LACBC, will be leading a bike ride along the closure points. And we're going to meet where? Okay, right over there by that sign. And Jerry Hans, raise your hand. Okay, Jerry is going to be doing the longest intervention, which is he's going to be leading a hike along the Oak Canyon Loop. And where do you want people to meet you? Right here? Okay, right there. Okay, so everybody knows where they're going if they want to go. Okay, now we have to just formally thank people with certificates, and then I'm going to get a big check. A big check. So you guys have to stick around for that. Okay, let's start with the certs. Okay, we have them all. Great. And let's start with Soumya Chandrasekhar and Matt Stewart of Kimley Horn. Where are you guys? Come on up. Okay. Yes. Come here. Come on up. Okay, and then, yes, come. Here we go. This is yours. Is Matt here? Okay, Matt's not here, so it's just Soumya. Thank you so much. You've been incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll take a photo after. Okay, the Griffith Park Advisory Board. Are any of your GPAB members here right now? Come on up. Is Jason here? Yes, come. Okay. Here's our representatives from GPAB who are incredible stewards of the park. I just want to give them a huge round of applause. Yes. Amazing. Please. This is volunteer work that they do, by the way. This is volunteer work that they do to care for this park. It's incredible. And finally, wanted to thank our transportation advocacy group, Streets Are for Everyone, the Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition, and Streets for All, who have all been advocating for this for quite some time. And we'd love to have Damien, Eli, and Michael here with any other board members that might be here just to come up, just so people can see your faces.
So it's Streets for Everyone and
Streets for All. Yes. Oh, and more kids are coming to the stage. This is so great. This is so nice. Thank you. And stick around if you can for pictures. Thank you guys so much. Yes. Thank you guys. You're incredible. Without you guys, it wouldn't have happened. And I've missed out thanking the Rangers, so I did want to thank the Rangers for all their support. They're just incredible. Give them a big round of applause. And I think, is it time for the check? Yeah. Okay. No?
Okay, then pull the price.
Oh, okay. All right, we got to move this, but I've never received such a big check before. So I would like everyone to clap a lot.